everybody, and welcome. I am the Digital Golf Doc, and this is the first video in the Senior Mobility Challenge. As a reminder, as a licensed physical therapist and an educator teaching kinesiology and biomechanics, I studied the golf swing and I studied the human body. I took the golf swing and all the movements you need, I studied the human body and all the movements you can make, and I matched them up to create this exact video sequence, helping you become a more flexible golfer. I outlined all of the details and the directions in the description of this video, so I won't bore you with the big time details here, but go there and it'll tell you the best way to follow it for the optimal results, as well as how you can test yourself to see if you're getting better. Other than that, let's get started. Today we're working on thoracic or upper back mobility. The first thing we're going to do is get our feet in setup position like we're going to hit a golf ball. I like to drop my hands down and then just take some gentle swings. Hands can stay together or hands can be apart. It does not really matter. What you want to note here is that the movement is coming from my upper back, my thoracic spine, and everything else is kind of staying in that golf setup posture. We're just warming these muscles up because if we get them a little bit warm, they're going to be a lot more receptive to the tension and flexibility exercises we put on them in a moment. After that, I'm really going to lock myself down and I'm going to say I cannot move my hips at all. And I will then rotate my shoulders and upper back, just being a little bit more specific than the last movement. And now you might start feeling some of that stretch in your obliques, your abs, maybe even your lower back. But we're creating movement from here up. And that's really important in the golf swing. And I have some biomechanics videos talking about that if you want to dig around the channel. After we've done that, the next thing we're going to do is clocks. So this time we want both of our hands to drop down. I'm going to bring my hands over from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, back to 8, back to 7 and 6, and then we'll go the other way. 5, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to go ahead and repeat that 2 more times. Again, we're going in chunks of a third of movement, and we're just taking a brief pause at each individual spot. Flexibility and mobility means nothing without control. That's why I like them merged to 2 together. But I promise you we will get into some of those movements where you feel like you're creating a lot more flexibility. From there, we're going to drop down to a knee. If you need to, put a little pillow or a pad under your knee if you're not comfortable kneeling. Stand nice and tall, almost like you're taking a string top of your head and pulling yourself up. We're going to rotate one direction and then back the other. Really trying to take that chest and aim it as far each way as you can while keeping that nice upright posture. You can use your hands and your knee that's up to create a little extra push. You shouldn't cause any injuries doing that, just that little bit of extra stretch to open up that thoracic spine, the rib joints, your lats, all of the musculature that travels in your upper back and across your shoulders. And while doing this, you want to make sure you're maintaining a nice controlled breath. So if you haven't in a little while, take a nice big deep breath. One more. And then we're going to go ahead and switch knees. And we're going to perform the same movement. If you have that pillow, make sure you switch it to the other knee to keep yourself comfortable, because if you're tensed and in pain, then you're probably not going to move very well. Let's take 2 more of those deep breaths. Perfect. Now, we're going to stay on that same knee up. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see me. And what I'm going to do is a side bend to try and touch the ground, and then come back up and bend the other way. Now, what you want to try and do here is keep your chest facing forward when you try and touch the ground. A lot of times as I do this, people bend, but they start to lean forward and they start to lose that posture. Instead, I want you to make sure you can maintain an upright spine and open chest. You may not touch the floor, especially if you haven't done a lot of flexibility training. It's probably not in the cards today, but the more you do this video, the better you'll get. Let's do one more touch each side, and then we'll switch knees. Okay. Again, we're keeping our focus on keeping that chest nice and upright. And movements like this, again, you can put a pillow under your knee. A good quality yoga mat goes a long way in mobility and flexibility training because this half kneeling position, as they call it, is just really valuable for targeting the thoracic spine, which is so important in the golf swing. Perfect. Now, we're going to go down on both of our knees and our hands supporting us. We're going to thread the needle. So I want to sink back so that I'm sitting back in my hips. Now you can have your toes curled under, or you can have your toes flat down. It doesn't matter, whatever is comfortable. I like toes under for a little extra foot stretch. I'm going to lift one arm in the air. I'm going to take it and reach through, slide it along the ground. And come back up and open. Reach through and open. And you don't have to keep that support elbow perfectly straight. If bending it helps you bring that chest through, and that's exactly what I want you to do. And again, maintaining our breath. So if you haven't, in a few minutes, make sure you take a big deep breath, and I'll join you. One more. And we'll switch. Other arm comes through and opens up. Again, maintain that breath. Really get a nice big turn. You can probably feel some similarities to this in your golf swing already as you take those nice big shoulder turns on the range, which I think we're all guilty of trying to overswing and get some more power. But if you increase your flexibility, you'll get more power and distance naturally. That's why I love this flexibility training so much. Last one, let's put a big breath with it. Next, we'll drop all the way down to our stomachs. And now we're going to work on extension of the thoracic spine. So you are going to use your hands to press into the ground. I want you to slowly roll your chest off and come up. Now what's important here is that it's slow and controlled because you want to move through each vertebrae of your spine one at a time as opposed to just jumping up there in one blocky movement. If you need to adjust your hands for comfort, that's perfectly fine. And we want to maintain that big deep breath, relaxing everything. Two more presses. You might even start to feel those arm muscles work a little bit. So now you get a little bit of strength in your mobility training too, which is just a bonus. Perfect. And next, we're going to roll onto our sides. From here, I like to drop an arm out, knees and hips both at a 90-degree angle. You can either put your hands together out front of you and open, or if you're limited on space, you can keep your hands across your chest and simply open this way. The key is that when you open, you're trying to reach that back shoulder for the ground while keeping these front knees down. And then you'll roll back. And you'll open up and roll back. Again, you can reach out front if that feels good to you. Sometimes I like to get to this back position. I'm stuck here. I'll take a large inhale. Exhale. Drive that shoulder blade toward the ground a little bit farther. And back. Open up, big inhale, exhale, drive the shoulder blade down, and back. You can put something under your head if you want to support your neck, or you can just let it rest on the ground. Whatever is going to make you turn farther is what I want you to do. And open up and make this the last one. Big inhale, exhale, and we'll come back. And for all of you, you can just roll over to the other side. I'm going to switch sides so that you can still see me on camera. And again, I'm going to make sure I find that 90-degree knee position, 90-degree hip position. Arm either out front or tucked under. Other arm up top. Rotate open. And I like to do a few rolls first before I add the breath. But this is your mobility practice. This is your training. So you learn what feels right to you, and I would stick with that. As I get to the back, I'm going to add my inhale. Exhale. Good. Roll forward. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Perfect. And we are going to make our way back up to our feet. And I like to end with some of those gentle swings again. And just a reminder, check out the description. There's a pre-test, post-test you can do to make sure that you are improving during each session. And there's directions for the rest of the series. If you haven't already, click that like and subscribe button so all the next videos can find you easily. And I'll see you next time in our Senior Mobility Challenge.